What's up, everyone? What's going on? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. 9 o'clock on the dot today, huh? How about that? Someone was a little, someone was a little ready to go this morning. I get, look at that, 9 o'clock. Normally it's 9:03, 9:02, 9:04. Here we are, and a lot to discuss today. Wow, the NBA Finals, Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. What a game last night by them. Wow, just crazy. I mean, they're playing a great brand of basketball. Kawhi Leonard being out definitely impacted that. The Phillies. Wow, are we really doing this again? Aaron Nola, I had a huge debate with people last night about Aaron Nola. Wasn't good enough. I don't care about soft contact. I don't care about singles. What happened? They lost the game. They lost the game, and he lost the lead. He had a lead. He lost the lead. He fell apart in that fifth inning. That's on Aaron Nola. Couldn't get the punch out. Had 2 strikes. Couldn't get it done. He wasn't good enough, and then the bullpen exploded. Once again, Joe Girardi, bad decisions. What I'll do is, because right now, it looks like the weather, as I brought that up. Hold on. Let's take a sip of coffee first. I know we're all over the place. This is what I do, though. Wow, an amazing sip of coffee. Okay. Bang! Here he is. The man, the myth, the legend. And I bring this up because I am thinking about my Phillies podcast about this series. So I'm going to do one tonight, whether they play tonight or not. I'm going to do a breakdown of the first 2 games of the Marlins series. So if we go to Glenn, it's going to tell us that, let's go hour by hour. 11 o'clock, showers. 12, thunderstorms. 1, thunderstorms. 2, cloudy. I don't know if they get this baseball game in tonight. It looks like we're going to have some showers and thunderstorms throughout the entire day. So whether the Phillies play or not, whether it's postponed or not, tonight I'll recap what we've seen in this Marlins series in the first 2 games, and we'll talk more about it. But Aaron Nola was not good enough. It's that simple. That simple. Andrew says, Nola is flashy with Ks, but in ERA terms, he's average. I think he's too focused on the strikeouts. I think Ben Davis nailed it in the postgame show, where once you start piling up those strikeouts, 11 Ks, 12 Ks, getting those big-time strikeout numbers, now instead of pitching the contact early, you're trying to get all your strikeouts. Nick Pivetta has a better ERA than Aaron Nola. That's reality of the situation. Therefore, come on. I mean, I don't know how you can support Aaron Nola right now and say that he's pitching fine. He's not pitching fine. He's not. This is his last outings. All right. When you go to his game-by-game stats, here's his pitches, his innings pitched in his last couple of starts. 4 2/3 with 7 earned runs. 5 1/3, 2 1/3. That's awful. Awful. That's atrocious. That's garbage. So, and prior to that, sure, he went 7 2/3 against the Yanks. He went 5 against the Braves, 5 against Cincinnati. We're talking about Aaron Nola here. It's unacceptable. It really is. How about them Suns? Yeah, the Suns are playing a great basketball. They're super fun. I mean, they're hard to hate. Dario Saric going to the NBA Finals. Mikal Bridges going to the NBA Finals. I'm excited to see. Like, I hope it's not Phoenix, Atlanta. You know, I really don't want to see that. I'd at least be okay with the Bucks in there. I don't want to see Phoenix versus Atlanta, though. It'll be different. It would be something unique. It definitely would have some interesting storylines to it. I'm not acting as if it would be boring when you think about stories because of how crazy it would be. But, you know, I want to see Milwaukee versus Phoenix at this point. I think it would be a little bit better. I think it would be. Collin says, Brodes, Girardi's taking a lot of heat and blame for the Phillies' performance as of late. I blame the players more. What do I think? Well, yeah, I mean, it's clear the players stink, but Joe has just made the same mistakes, if not worse mistakes, than Gabe Kapler. That's just realistic. I've never seen a manager look like he's never managed in his life before. Some of these decisions outside of the players, because you're right, the players are an issue. And the number one problem with this team is personnel. Over the manager, personnel is an issue. With that said, he's making the worst decisions I've ever seen. I don't know how you can put Felice out there again. What are you doing? It's a high leverage spot. Well, we don't have many guys available. Then you throw a reasonable dude. You throw Connor Brogdon. You throw Hector Neris. You throw pitchers that have been in the major leagues in the last 5 years. You put a dude in a high leverage spot who just blew up his last performance, and you think something's going to change when the guy hasn't played Major League Baseball in how many seasons? I mean, it's a joke that he constantly throws him out there. Joe has made some egregious problems. He just made some egregious problems for this baseball team. It's terrible. Christian wants to know if I think Montreal still has a chance. Interesting you say that, Christian. Durso and I just recorded Open Ice Hits. After Coffee with Brodes, it'll get exported. It'll get uploaded. So I will leave you with a tease to say, make sure you watch Open Ice Hits because we broke down the first 2 games. So keep your eyes open for that. MJ04 MJ thinks that he agrees about the Hawks Suns, but it would be refreshing to see different from the last 10 years, so much different. It would be. It would be something so out there and something that we're not accustomed to seeing. So, it would be fascinating from that angle. I'm not discrediting that. Trae Young, Bogdanovich. It would just be strange. Like, what are we watching here? You're right. Maybe I'm being too hard. Maybe I'm being too aggressive with it. But my personal opinion, if I could choose, I'd rather watch Giannis versus Devin Booker. I'd rather watch Giannis and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday try to figure it out a bit here in Milwaukee versus Chris Paul and Jay Crowder and that team. How about Pat Beverly last night, though? What the hell was that? Lost his cool big time. By the way, I had a tweet last night that some people called me outrageous for, but I don't give a damn. Here's reality of the situation. The Clippers were down 21 with 3 minutes to go, and Ty Lue empties the bench and goes full bench mode. That made me sick. That's disgusting to me. Yeah, you know what? The Clippers were going to lose the game. It really didn't mean much. He waved the white flag. But this is the playoffs. 3 minutes to go. I'm not saying I give up. I quit. That's what the coach said. I quit. We lost. Fuck no. I'm playing it out. I'm playing the last 3 minutes with my starters. I'm not emptying the bench like this is game 22 of the regular season and you know you're going to lose and you move on to the next city the next night. You ride it out with your guys. Paul George, Reggie Jackson. You put them out there. You keep them out there, and they play the final 3 minutes. You ride it out with your top dogs. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose trying to make shots with your best players at the end and lose by 15 instead of 21. I'm not emptying the bench and putting out Paul Reed, Isaiah Joe to end my season. And I'm obviously using Sixers players there, but that's what it's like. If my season's going to end, Joel Embiid should be out there. Ben Simmons should be out there. Tobias Harris should be out there. You lose with your top dogs. Your season ends with your best players out there. You don't empty the bench with 3 minutes to go. That's a soft move. Soft. Even though it doesn't change everything. It doesn't. You probably still lose. I get it. Oh, but Brodes don't want to risk injury. Stop it. They didn't do that because of risking injury. I thought that was soft. So that's kind of my thought on it. People did not like that. Brodes, you're overreacting. What are you talking about? I'm telling you what I'm talking about. It's soft. Hey, Xavier had the exact same thought. Yeah, for sure, man. What's my plan for today? Well, I recorded Open Ice Hits before Coffee with Brodes. So after Coffee with Brodes, I'm going to get the audio form for the podcasted version. Then I'm going to export Open Ice Hits. I'll upload that. I'm going to go to the gym. I really hope I can beat the rain and the thunderstorms because I want a ball. So there's a whole court in the back section. And it's outdoors. This gym has the outdoor gym. It's not an indoor gym, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, if it was an indoor gym, it'd probably be insanely packed all the time, while the outdoor gym gives me some versatility of maybe just putting up shots on my own at times when I want to. But yeah, I'll probably go to the gym, shoot some hoops, upper body day, and then wait for the Phillies. And then if they get canceled, I'll just record a Phillies podcast about Nola, Vince Velasquez in the last 2 games against the Marlins. So that's kind of my day planned for today. That's kind of what I have today. Jorge or George, I don't know which way this is pronounced, but I agree, Brodes. I ain't ever thrown in the towel. It's an elimination game. Exactly. I'm glad people feel the same way. because, by some of the reactions that I got, it was almost like, Brodes, you're a moron. And quite frankly, I don't give a fuck what people think about my opinions. They're sports opinions, and it shouldn't ruin your life. But some people do take it that far. And for me, it's like, dude, you're ending your season. You end your season with Paul George on the floor. I'm not dapping up George with 3 minutes to go and giving him a hug on the coach's little box there. Get the hell out of here. I'm riding out with my players. Dusty says, yo, man, I'm down here in South Carolina. Huge Phillies fan. Love listening to your work and then the Pat McAfee and the boys. Keep it up, homie. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, like, it's a little hard right now. Like, obviously, I'm a diehard Phillies fan, but they haven't been good enough to give me that every single night content that I'm looking for. There was a time where it was early in the year. You're winning a lot of games. When you win, talking about this team every night is fantastic. When they do this, it's almost like I'm in a spot where it's after every 2 games, after every series, and there's only so much I can do because they're just not giving us good baseball. So for this one, for this Marlins series, now they got a big, excuse me, a big schedule coming up here where it's Red Sox, Cubs, Padres, not in that order. I think it's actually Padres, Cubs, Red Sox. Yeah, the Padres come to town starting Friday. Then you go to Chicago. Then you go to Boston. Then you play the Marlins again. Maybe there'll be a makeup game there, a doubleheader or something. Or I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do for that. You'll see the Marlins plenty of times to kind of work that out throughout the schedule. But yeah, like I wish this team gave me everyday content. Unfortunately, it's not everyday content anymore. It's every couple of days, every 2 days, every 3 days of reacting, sadly. Kay says, can't believe Bridges and Shards got to the finals. I mean, they're role players, right? So, I mean, there's plenty of role, especially Dario Shards. I mean, you can make any team as a role player and be in the NBA finals. And while Dario Shards has played a role, this is, I get it. I know you're not saying anything serious here, Kay, but, as role players and the whole Mikal Bridges thing, I'll still always have to slow people down and say, fine. And look, Tobias Harris is overpaid, and we know that. There's no Tobias Harris without the Mikal Bridges trade. It wasn't Zahir for Mikal. It was an unprotected first-round pick by the Miami Heat and Zahir Smith for Mikal Bridges, which eventually ended up getting you Tobias Harris. Now, you can make the argument that Tobias Harris trade wasn't worth it, or at least the contract wasn't worth it. Fine, but that's a different discussion. The Mikal Bridges for Zahir Smith, people always forget about the unprotected first-round pick. That's a huge, I mean, huge part of that deal. Massive. $5 coming in from Edward. Good old James tampering with Dame last night. Did I expect less? Does that bother you? It doesn't bother me. It's the NBA. I want Joel Embiid to do it. I called Joel Embiid out about 3 days ago. 3 days ago, I did. I said, I want Joel Embiid to be out there flying to LA, talking to all of his guys. I want Joel Embiid to be making phone calls, talking to some individuals, saying, come to Philadelphia. Let's go win a championship. Let's team up. Everyone does it. All these superstars do it. Don't just blast LeBron James. Everyone does it. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. Let's do our thing. I actually demand Joel Embiid to get out there and do that. Let's go, Dame. I need you here. Me and you. Pick and roll. Me and you. Fourth quarter. Me and you. Championship. Me and you. Broad Street. I demand Joel Embiid to do that. So I have no issue whatsoever with players talking to one another. It's inevitable. That's going to happen. So do that as well. Do that as well. Ever thought about Brandon Ingram? What do you mean, have I ever thought about him? Well, I mean, it was the second pick outside of Ben Simmons. After that, Ben Simmons was the first pick. Brandon Ingram went second. So, of course, I thought about Brandon Ingram and not so much trading for him because I don't think that would ever happen. I don't think that would ever happen. The Collin Sexton thing might. And I'm in for Collin Sexton. All right, so Chris brings up the trade of Wiseman and 7. So if it's Wiseman and maybe bum Simmons, Toby, if you throw Matt. No. Come on. There's no way. That Golden State trade is abysmal. I'm not taking Andrew Wiggins for Ben Simmons. I'm not. And you know how bad I want to get Ben Simmons out of here. I'm not taking Andrew Wiggins for Ben Simmons. Collin Sexton, yes. Collin Sexton, he's 22 years old, 39% from 3, gives you 24 points per game. Every year he's progressed 16, 20, 24. That's his points per games every year going up. His assist numbers going up. I think that he could play very well with Joel Embiid. Younger player, I get that. I'm not doing it for Andrew Wiggins. I'm doing it for Collin Sexton, though. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm doing it for Collin Sexton, Kevin Love, and a top 10 protected first-round pick. Yes, I am. So everyone's like, are you kidding me? Are you drunk? Are you delusional? No. No, I'm not. I think you are. I think you're drunk. I think you're delusional. I think you're putting too much stock in Ben Simmons. That's what I think's happening. That's not going to happen, though. No one's trading Brandon Ingram for Ben Simmons straight up. Why would the Pelicans do that? So it's not even something that's going to happen. These other ones that we're bringing up are conversational because they're in the news. They're being reported as a possible trade that could go down. Like, these are legitimate conversations and speculation around the league. Ben Simmons for Brandon Ingram straight up for the New Orleans Pelicans is not something that's, being truly thrown around there. Nolan starting five for the Sixers. Embiid, Lillard, Curry, Tobias, and Danny Green. I mean, yeah, that would be great in theory. I just don't know if that's absolutely 1,000% going to happen. I don't know. And the whole Danny Green thing is interesting too. Are you going to be able to bring Danny Green back? I know Doc Rivers claimed that that's something that they're going to work out, and him and Daryl Morey are, having conversations about how to kind of work around filling that void or bringing him back. But I don't know. Is Danny Green an automatic coming back to Philadelphia, or is this market going to be better elsewhere? Is he going to get more money to go to a different city? Is he going to want to stay in Philadelphia, or does he want to go in another direction and go to a different town? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Danny Green. Avery says Bryce Harper is poopy. Now, did you watch last night's game? Did you watch his 2 home runs? This team's bad. Bryce Harper is not bad. This team is bad. So, Avery, come on. I shouldn't even give you the time of day for such a stupid comment like that, but, you got to call out the morons once in a blue moon. Kevin Love's contract would be the problem because you have to re-sign Collin Sexton for more money and still have to pay Love. You'd be okay. You'd be able to figure that out. You'd be able to figure that out. Now, with Kevin Love's contract, let's see where it's at now. He signed that 4-year, $120 million deal, which has 2 years left on it. So it's got next year and then the following season, and he's a free agent. For Collin Sexton's deal, I mean, they'd figure that out. They wouldn't just – if that was the case, no one would even be talking about the trade. Like, if that was part of the problem and they couldn't work around it, then that would never even be brought up as a trade speculation or a trade possibility. Now, I'm trying to bring up Collin Sexton's thing here, and of course it's not loading, but we'll bring that up on the next one. I want Ben gone, but Ben skipping Tokyo makes me think the Sixers have told him they want to keep him. Maybe a smokescreen. No, I don't think it has any correlation. I think that was all a personal opinion at that point. Okay, so the rookie extension is eligible after this season for Collin Sexton, but he's still signed through 2023, which would be a qualifying offer of 8.6 base salary with a $20 million cap hit, but then he'd be an RFA. You'd be fine with the money as it looks like here on Sports Track. It would work out where he's eligible for a rookie extension after next season, but you could still work around it and he'd be an RFA. You'd be okay with the money if we're going back to the Collin Sexton, Kevin Love thing. So it would be okay. I think Harper's first home run would have landed all the way in South Beach. That thing was crushed, man. That thing, I didn't even realize off the first initial showing of it, which I guess shame on me because of the power that it came off of the bat, that hit the brick wall. I thought it just landed in the bushes. I was like, wow, that thing was crushed. But then when you see the replay, how hard that hit the wall in center field, that was just outrageous. I mean, Bryce Harper jumping on a pitch early, boom, that thing was murdered. He had 2 home runs. Only so much you can do, I mean, the team is just bad. The team is bad, and this is what they're going to be for the rest of the season. That's why it sucks, because you can't anticipate seeing anything different. Nothing's going to change. The same decisions will be made. How about this for a foolish decision? Rhys Hoskins hits a home run. We know Rhys Hoskins is streaky. Sits him the next day. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Edward thinks Kevin Love would be a good role player. I agree. I think it'll be he's got more left in the tank than what Cleveland's showing. Very similar to Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin had nothing in Detroit, losing franchise, losing organization, unhappy, goes to Brooklyn Nets, and there's a little jump into his game. With Kevin Love, I think you'd have the same exact thing. You'd have jump out of a veteran who's been he's been depleted by some injuries, and he had a lot of issues with the front office as well, and just the way that he's utilized. And they went through the weird coaching experience there that didn't work from Michigan, then moving on instantly, and it became a nightmare there for him. I think a change of pace would be big for Kevin Love. I still think that there's something left in the tank. Not anything wild, insane, elite, but I think that there's something left in the tank. I would do the trade. Sexton, Kevin Love, and a protected first round pick. I would do the trade. Do I think Levine is a realistic target? I don't know. I think that he's more of a reach than he is a possibility. I think with Damian Lillard news, that's the ultimate target. That's the ultimate goal. That's what Daryl Morey has his eyes on first. And after that, it starts going into maybe Bradley Beal. But then it's now the Collin Sextons, the CJ McCollums. It's that range. And I don't think if you don't get Damian Lillard, that means you just shut it off completely. No, you don't. You don't do that. You still look for ways to trade for Ben Simmons or trade Ben Simmons that can help out your basketball team. That's definitely the way I would go. Kevin Love is injury prone. Yeah, he's had some problems with injuries, but I mean, it doesn't mean that he can't help out this basketball team. He'd have a way lesser of a role. He won't be playing 40 minutes a night. You're not demanding Kevin Love to run up and down the floor for 35 minutes. If you're looking for 20 minutes of backup center and maybe some stretch four if Tobias Harris goes to the bench, I mean, you're not asking for him to have the workload that he once had in the past. So that changes things a lot, is how much you're asking of Kevin Love. Now, last year in 25 games, he averaged 25 minutes. He shot he shoots 37% from three. He only averaged 12 points per game, but he only played 25 minutes. Bad basketball team he played for. I'm still doing it, though. I'm still doing it. I'm excited for the Flyers offseason. Lots of reports on Seth Jones. Yeah, it does seem like they're moving pretty heavily in that direction, and I'd be so for it. I'm pretty excited if they can land Seth Jones. I think that's kind of your cornerstone defenseman that you're looking for with Ivan Provorov. And Seth Jones and Provy for your top two in your D pairing would be magnificent. And then maybe Phil Myers and Sanheim can help take that step and can be better than they were last year, because they were both a disaster. But if they get back to who they were previously, you have a nice top four. And I would like more veteran leadership in there, because Cam York is another name that I think is going to help out this team. And maybe he's on the sixth D pairing, but I would like some more veteran names, maybe, because that's definitely young, and I get scared with youth on the back end that way. But Sanheim and Myers now have been in the league long enough where they're getting into that more of, sure, they're young, but they have enough experience to understand the game and take that next step and take that next stride. So they're in that weird awkwardness of, yes, they're young, but yes, they've had enough time to kind of grow and groom as players. So we'll see where the Flyers go. We will. Connor says, I'm telling you, Ben Simmons, Hill, Milton in our first for Zach LaVine and Thice. I go back to with Milton. I don't know if they're moving on from him contract-wise because of how cheap he is and what he brings to the table for a regular season, off the bench. Doc Rivers likes him for that type of money. What he gets paid, you're not going to find that. You can't find that role. And I'm not a huge Shake Milton guy. Clearly, he fell flat on his face, and I'm not having high expectations for him. But for that $1.8 million, you're going to need that type of money tied to a specific player, where that might limit your trade for Shake Milton. And this is all after, and I explained this before, but I heard Tyrone Johnson kind of going back and forth about that with Mikey Miss about, how important Shake Milton's contract is to this team if you're going to be spending hefty money on max contract players, with having Joel Embiid's salary, Tobias Harris's salary, whoever you bring in for the Ben Simmons salary. You need players like Shake Milton to be on that type of contract where that might limit what you're going to do. Yeah, but I mean, Carmen says, I can't watch Shake Milton again for another year. Package him. I'm telling you, it might financially, it might not be something that is what you can do. Unfortunately, it might not be. It might not be, because you're tight with the cap. You're tight with the money. You might need a player like that, unfortunately. I think our starting five next year will be so different that we wouldn't really be replaced. I think our starting five, this is from Ryan, will be so different that he wouldn't really be replaced. I'm a little confused on what you're saying exactly. They brought up the question, would you sign Joe out of the Supermax? There is a concern about that, Joshua, about the Supermax because of his injuries, but it's Joel Embiid. I mean, you give the man the money. You don't just not give a player like Joel Embiid the money. So you're kind of like in a scenario where, yeah, there's injuries and yeah, there's concerns because of where he's been at with that in his career. At the same time, it's Joel Embiid. You don't not sign a player like that and keep him in your franchise. So yes, you do that. Who do I think replaces Danny Green in the starting five? Well, I mean, you're going to have to go through some of the possibilities there with some veteran players and whatnot. So I don't know off the top of my head what direction you'd go in. I think that there's some possibilities. I mean, you don't have a ton of money to spend. You can't go out and grab the big time free agents. You don't have the ability to do that with the cap space. So you are limited in that area, but you're going to have to find like a veteran player to step into that role. And that's kind of it. Or is it time for Matisse Thybulle to take a jump? Is it now where you rely on a player like Matisse Thybulle to be in your starting rotation, add to the offensive side of the game, and you have whoever replaces Ben Simmons as your point guard, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid? Is that the direction you go in as a franchise? Now, you're going to have to really get more out of Matisse because he can't be a starter playing the same way he played this past year. You need more offensively. I demand seeing growth in that area. If he just becomes a Swiss Army knife forever, I'd be disappointed because his shot's not broken. It's not like it's an ugly jumper. He has to work on his jumper and be willing to become more of a lethal weapon. And I really hope that Danny Green, being around him and associated with him, because he's a 3-and-D guy, that could really change the mindset of what Matisse Thybulle could be. Like, Matisse should look at Danny Green as, I can be a better version than Danny Green because his defense is better than anything Danny Green. And that's saying a lot because Danny Green in his prime was a hell of a defender. Now he's on the back nine. That's obvious. But during his time of great play, and he still has some really solid play, but during his prime, Danny Green was an excellent defender, an excellent 3-and-D guy. Matisse Thybulle is by far someone that has a unique skill set that could be even better than him on the defensive end. And you just hope that he can provide the offense as well. So I don't know. I don't have the most faith in the world that he's going to pop offensively, but he needs to. He needs to. Matisse also needs to work on not getting 3 fouls in the first quarter. Yeah, well, I said that in the beginning of his career. The way he plays, where he comes around the screen and he fights around it and he tries to block people from behind and he tries to get his hands in there after getting beat. One of the things he does is he gets beat and then he recovers. He's good with recovering, where he'll swat the ball from behind. He'll steal the ball from behind. But that's also, for his greatness of it, there's the weakness to it as well, where you're going to get a lot of fouls. You're going to get a lot of cheap fouls. You're going to get your hands in the cookie jar, and the refs are going to blow the whistle. You're going to have a Trae Young, and I know the rules are now going to change, but as you come around the screen, he's going to recognize and sense that there's a player behind him, so he'll stop, put his brakes on, and kind of draw you from behind to pick up a foul. That's going to happen as well. As I said, though, although the rules are going to change, but that was always a problem for Matisse that concerned me when watching him play. Yes, that is correct. Another how much is it? $1.3 million that he gets paid every single July 1st? Is it 1.3? I love it. Just trending on Twitter. 1.193, excuse me. So closer to $1.2 million he gets until 2035. Just amazing. Just literally amazing. Jose says the new rule should help out Matisse. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Nathan says if Thybulle works on his shot and stops those costly fouls, he will be a nice player. Yeah, I mean, that's changing his game completely, though. If he does two major things to his game, I don't know. I mean, this franchise has not developed Ben Simmons. So will they develop Matisse Thybulle? I don't know. It all depends about the approach. Are they going to demand it? Are they going to force him? Or are they going to say, Matisse, you're good at what you do. Just be you. Be you, Matisse. Be as strong as we've seen you defensively, and that's all we care about. If you're just a great defender, we'll be okay, and we'll work around that. If that's the soft message that they give, well, then we're going to have major issues. Do the Phillies win tonight? I don't even know if they're going to play. When you look at the weather, it seems like there's going to be a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of showers. They might not get this game in. And if that's the case, I mentioned this earlier, but I'll do a Phillies podcast tonight. And if it isn't the case and they do play, I'll recap the Marlins series as a whole after their game tonight. So regardless, we'll have some Sixers conversation on the table tonight. But yeah, I don't even know if they're going to play. I don't know if they're going to play. I worked at 97.3 for 2 years, and then I left to work full-time here at Brodes Media, and then I ended up getting an opportunity to work at 97.5 The Fanatic. So I'm actually at The Fanatic now, hosting on the weekends. I interned at 97.3, then I got a producing job at 97.3, then I worked as on-air talent with co-hosting with Mike Gill, which was just a phenomenal experience. Loved every minute there working at 97.3, and then, yeah, I left to work on my own thing here full-time, and within a week or two, I got an opportunity at the Fanatic. So it's been a little bit of a crazy ride in that aspect, but yeah, that's where I'm at now, and I really do enjoy it. I love it. It's been everything I thought it would be. Amadeo says Phillies will hopefully get canceled. I want them to, and I don't want them to. I don't want to sit through the pain, but at the same time, it's a Thursday night. You do have the NBA game on. You don't really know the status of Giannis and Trae Young at this very moment. So, and during the game, trust me, 5 innings in, I'd be like, damn, I really wanted to watch this, and I'm an idiot for wanting that. At the same time, I want something to scream about. It's like I need my blood boiled. I need something to work me up tonight. I need that. I need that impact of screaming and going nuts and going crazy. At least they can't lose if that does happen. I know. And no one says the same thing. If the Phillies get canceled tonight, that means they can't lose. I know. I gotcha. I gotcha. Do I think if Didi comes back, that might spark something? No, I don't. This team stinks, man. This team stinks. They're so far past Didi coming back. Here's why. Ronald Torreyes has actually been very strong. And not that I think, it's Ronald Torreyes, right? But here's my point. If you look up what Ronald Torreyes has done to this point, hitting 261, basically a 300 OBP. If Didi Gregorius comes back and hits what do you expect for him to come back after this type of injury that kept him out this long? Probably around 260. How much more are you going to get from Didi Gregorius coming back from this injury compared to Ronald Torreyes? He hit 229 in his 32 games this season before getting hurt. Now, he hit 284 last year in 60 games, 238 the year before in 82 games, 260. I mean, he's a career 264. He's a career 264. Ronald Torreyes is giving you 261 right now. How much more are you getting with Didi Gregorius? Not much. I don't think Didi Gregorius really changes everything. There's an issue with where this team is emotionally, where this team is culture-wise. They don't believe in one another. There's no brotherhood. They don't care for one another. It's very individual, it seems. It feels like everyone's just out there worried about themselves instead of playing as a unit, playing as a core, playing for one another. And once that happens, it really does change everything. John says the Clippers would have won the championship if Kawhi was healthy. Well, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. Would the series have changed? Obviously, Kawhi Leonard's a special talent. I mean, you can say that about any team, any year, any time. Denver Nuggets lost Jamal Murray. Would they have went farther? Probably. Golden State Warriors lost Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, or no, I don't know if they lost Steph Curry that year. They lost Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, the Golden State Warriors lost in the NBA Finals. If that didn't happen, does Kawhi Leonard have a championship with the Toronto Raptors? Maybe not. This is all part of sports. This is just what happens. Players get injured, and then from there, the other team takes advantage of that. Nobody wants that. Nobody is willing to wish for that. But it just happens based off of the physical play, and when it does, it does. And that's just what it is. Yeah, Connor, I agree with you here. Alec Boehm's defense makes me sick. So it makes Connor Murphy here, livid. Those are mistakes you don't make in high school. Yeah, he's unplayable. Alec Boehm is unplayable. He's Ben Simmons. He can't play half of the game. And his positives don't outweigh his negatives. Now, he had a hot July. He really did play fantastic baseball at the plate. But there's also a problem with him not having power. I'm sick and tired of, while he's getting hits and he's getting some nice singles and whatnot, dude, you have zero power to your game. That's ridiculous. There's clearly an issue here with his approach to the plate with that aspect, and it has to change. I can't live with Alec Boehm being this. I need more power. Fernando Tatis, you know what? He's got so many damn errors. Alec Boehm has so many damn errors. There's a big difference between the power and the production and the way that he can crush the baseball out of the ballpark. Fernando Tatis makes up for his flaws by destroying the cover off the ball. Boehm can. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He has more power in him. I'm not asking a singles hitter to be a power hitter. Alec Boehm has power. He does. It's in there. He's just not approaching it properly. Now, you can go through maybe his stance, where his hands are, and why he's constantly going the other way. And there's a correlation between that, why he's going the other way so much, why that's happening constantly, and he's not driving the ball and crushing homers. There's a correlation there. But that has to change, and his defense is the worst. I mean, arguably the worst I've seen in baseball. It's way worse than Rhys Hoskins, and Rhys stinks defensively. Stinks. So, that's terrible. Oh, yeah, Nolan. Ohtani's one of the best stories ever. Now, he blew up yesterday, or when was that, against the Yankees? He had a bad outing against the Yankees, but that was June. Oh, because he was hitting. That's why I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. He pitched every day. As obviously, I'm joking, but when you see the game log, that's because my man's the dual threat. Of course, he's out there every single damn day. It's amazing to see what he does at the plate. He's got 28 home runs. What the fuck? He's literally got 28 home runs. It's just ridiculous. Hitting 277. He'll also give you 7 punch outs and 7 innings of work. I mean, this guy's absolutely insane what he's doing. Just ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. One of the best things to witness in baseball is the dominance of Ohtani. Must watch. Padres are must watch. The Angels with Ohtani's must watch. And you know what's crazy to me? This is absurd. The Angels with Mike Trout is not as fun as the Angels with Ohtani. And isn't that crazy considering what Mike Trout brings to the table? You know, like, I just think that's absolutely absurd. And that's no knock on Mike Trout. Special talent, amazing player. He does move the needle for me because I care about the sport of baseball outside of the Phillies. It's a very regionalized sport, so that's not the case for every single person who does enjoy Phillies baseball, even though there's very few that enjoy Phillies baseball at this moment. But you get my point. I think Ohtani is someone that makes you put on the Angels more than Mike Trout makes you put on the Angels. And that's just wild to say. No, I'm just saying in general. Yes, he had a bad start. I'm just saying in general, Ohtani. I mean, really, Andrew, you're going to bring up the one bad outing and the few bad outings he's had after what he's done at the plate and on the mound. I mean, come on. Let's use our brain here a little bit. Danny says, should the Phillies fire Girardi? Maybe not now, but in the offseason. I mean, I'm not opposed to anything at this point, but if we see the next manager come in and it be this egregious again, then, I mean, I already know it goes deeper than the manager, but at what point are we going to stop blaming the manager? Like, I've never seen a franchise in my life have so many pitchers unavailable. Well, this guy can't pitch tonight. This guy can't pitch tonight. That guy pitched last night. This guy can't pitch. Everyone's unavailable every day, every game. There's so many pitchers unavailable. And I feel the front office and I don't know who's making the decisions, but they're forcing Girardi to have players unavailable every single night. Where afterwards you see Joe go, I don't have anyone. I don't have anyone. And you can see the frustration. So how much of this is front office, analytical department, John Middleton, compared to Joe Girardi making the moves? Like, the next guy's going to come in and have a nightmare scenario, not make the proper decisions. It looked like you never managed baseball before. And then that would be 3 managers in a row of the most dysfunctional moves in the history of baseball. then are we going to stop blaming the manager? We should already. But yeah, I mean, it's got to go deeper. It has to go deeper. Has to. Yankees gave up game-tying grand slam. I know, that game was nuts. So I had it on TV, on my third TV in the man cave when because there was so much going on. The College World Series, it was a shame. It was so many blowouts and so many big-time leads that it kind of killed the vibe of the atmosphere and all, because Vanderbilt had no chance in Game 3, and it was just blowout after blowout after blowout. Nothing was close in intense moments, which kind of sucked. But I'm thinking about the 3 TV setup that I had last night, and eventually there was the rain delay on the Yankees game. But when it came back, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to bed. It's late. I'll just lay in bed, and maybe I'll throw it on my iPad because my fiance was sleeping. I didn't want to put the TV on. So I was like, I'll put it on my iPad maybe. And I ended up getting sucked into YouTube and TikTok, so I never put on the Yankees game. I woke up this morning and saw the ending. I'm like, damn, fuck, I missed an opportunity to watch something crazy. So I was planning on doing it, and I just completely forgot. Oh, Yankees fans have been panicking all season long, though. I mean, Yankees fans have been ripping apart their franchise since the beginning. They're third in their division right now. So let's see where they stand at this very moment. They're only a couple games over 500. They're not what they thought they would be. No, they're fourth now. I thought they were going to be fourth. I was going to say, hold on a second. Yeah, they're fourth now. They're fourth in their division. The only team they're better than is Baltimore. They've been screaming about the Yankees since the start of the season. The Red Sox are 50-31. The Rays are 47-34. The Blue Jays are 41-37, and the Yankees are 41-39. So yeah, I mean, they're not a good team. They're not a good team at all. Their fan base has been going nuts forever. Robert says the Yankees are trash. This is coming from a Yankees fan. Yeah, oh, trust me. I listen to John Boy. And Jake. I listen to their show. They do a phenomenal job. I love listening to them. I keep the posts going for me. I check in on the posts of the Yankees fan because I'm jealous. As much as the Yankees blow, I'm jealous of Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, die-hard baseball towns, because I love baseball as much as they love baseball, and that intensity is not matched with the Phillies. Now, granted, it's hard to get behind this Phillies team, and we need to start making sure that things change or we're going to be screwed forever. I don't know what we can possibly do, but we do need to act on this because this is unacceptable. Even if the team is good, though, when they were good, 08, 09, 2010, 2011, like, this fan base does not care the same way Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox care. They don't. To them, they care about their teams that I just mentioned, like we care about the Eagles, which I don't want it to take over the Eagles. I want it to match the Eagles. I want Phillies baseball to be just as important as Eagles football, not higher, okay, but just the same. And it's just not. So I get a little upset about that. Daniel says John Boy and Jake from a Red Sox fan. Yeah, I mean, come on. They're great. They're great at what they do. What are my realistic expectations from the Sixers? Trade Ben Simmons. And reshape this thing. That's my realistic expectations. Get a real point guard in here. Get a legitimate point guard, whether it's Dame, whether it's Collin Sexton, whether it's CJ McCollum, and you run with Tyrese Maxey at the point, whether it's D'Angelo Russell. That's what I think it is. My realistic expectations is to trade Ben Simmons and get a real point guard. I enjoy watching the breakdowns. Yes, I agree. They do a good job. I always believe that just about anything that comes from Boston, New York to Philadelphia ends up turning out well. I may miss some players, but it just seems that way. What do you mean? You always believe that just about anything that comes from Boston or New York to Philadelphia ends up not turning out well. What do you mean by that? What are you saying, like Nick Pavetta? Or I'm just a little confused. Comes from Boston to Philly. So Ronald Torreyes, Didi Gregorius, David Hale. These are just names that I'm spitballing. Al Horford. Yeah, but Al Horford was never going to work because of just the spacing on the floor. I mean, you have a big man in Joel Embiid, and you're trying to force a player like Al Horford, who wanted to play the 4, but really is a 5, and that just never really worked in general. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you can name players here and there, but I mean, that it's not because they come from New York or they come from Philadelphia. It's just in those individual scenarios, it wasn't the proper assessment when bringing them in. It has nothing to do with where they came from. If that same player, Al Horford, came from Atlanta or came from another team in the NBA, came from Charlotte, came from a different team, you'd still have the same problem. So it doesn't really matter where they come from. It's just a matter of the team trying to make that assessment and bringing them in that doesn't work at all. Brandon Workman. Brandon Workman stinks now, though. He went to Chicago and he stunk, right? So he went to Chicago and he stunk, and now he's not there. I get that. I mean, what you guys are saying is players didn't work out. Players didn't work out from every city, though. Like you're focusing on now. Let's move on to the next city. I mean, like players have not worked out from most cities. Like you're pointing out Phillies. Well, the Phillies have underachieved in all of these last handful of years. So any player that came here, whether it was from their own internal organization, whether they brought in somebody out, Jake Arrieta, Chicago Cubs, stunk, paid a ton of money, was not working out, right? Nick Pivetta, your own franchise, stunk, not working out. I mean, you can say that about anyone with a franchise that stinks this much. You're just focusing on the players that came from those specific cities. No, Workman ended up going to the Cubs, didn't he? He didn't go back to I think he went to the Cubs and got DFA'd. I don't think Workman went back to the Red Sox, did he? Oh, after he got DFA'd from Chicago, he went back to the Red Sox. Now, is he still playing? June 30th? Wow, I didn't realize he was still playing. When did he get picked up? Because he got DFA'd for being abysmal. I had no idea. That's crazy. Brandon Workman. What a joke. He played June 30th, played June 23rd, and June 19th. He's got almost a 7 ERA this season, though, in 8 innings. I didn't even realize he got picked up. That's funny. Christopher with a nice, simple comment. Phillies garbage. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, Aiden, I would trade Simmons, Thybulle, and a couple picks for Lillard. No doubt. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Whether it's Thybulle, whether it's Maxey, I'm sending the house to Portland to grab a Damian Lillard. Whatever it takes. Yes, I'm willing to make that trade. No doubt about it. Would I do Simmons for De'Aaron Fox? Absolutely. I would do Simmons for De'Aaron Fox. I would do Simmons for CJ McCollum. I would do Simmons for D'Angelo Russell. I would do Simmons for Damian Lillard. I would do Simmons for Collin Sexton. I'm trading Ben Simmons for basically all of these names. The only two that I think I've said no to so far was Andrew Wiggins, no. And there was another one that I would say no to that I don't love that's being thrown around. I think that there was another one where it was like Marvin Bagley and Buddy Hield and a first round pick. No to that one. No to Wiggins. There's another one that's not coming to the top of my head right now that I would say no to. But no, no, I'm not doing it for DeMar DeRozan. Absolutely not. No, I'm not doing it for anything. I know people with the Spurs and the trade. What do they call that thing? The trade simulator. The trade simulator. They tried Murray from San Antonio. Murray, DeMar DeRozan. These are names that are getting thrown around there. Podol. Nah, I don't think I'd do it for any of those names. They don't move the needle for me. Definitely not DeMar DeRozan. No, not Kemba Walker. I would not do it for Kemba Walker. You can't just sign Lowry. You don't have money to do that. It would have to be a sign and trade, so I don't really know if that's a possibility. Giving Pops Bent, how? He doesn't shoot a basketball. There's no such thing as a superstar that won't shoot a basketball. So, no, I don't think that would happen. He might be a regular season player. That's what he is. I mean, you're going to see Ben wherever he goes, works out in a regular season action. That's all great and dandy. Just wait until the second round of playoffs. Wait until he is basically eliminated from the games that matter most. It's unacceptable. You know, it'd be funny, though, Ben Simmons in Cleveland. Imagine how disgusted he'd be to be living in Cleveland, Ohio, after buying this mansion in LA, being a bigger city guy. And then it's like, yeah, guess what, Ben? Good luck. You're playing in Cleveland. So funny. Nah, I'm not doing it for DeMar DeRozan. That doesn't move the needle enough for me. Ben for Siakam. I don't think that's realistic, so I'm not even going to go down that road. Would I do that? I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. My first initial reaction is I don't love it, but I also don't think it's reasonable. So that's another reason why yeah, I don't know. He shot 29% from 3 last year. He averaged 21 points per game, but I'd sit on it. I'd think I need more time to think about it because Ben stinks. So Ben stinks. Can't play. Yes, Ben for D'Lo. I'm doing Ben for D'Lo. Guys, Ben will never be good until he gets good mentally. Danny Green himself said that Ben isn't the type of player that goes above and beyond. Right. And like there's no way to change that. That's the thing. You don't change that. You have it or you don't have it. He doesn't have it. You can't change that side of him. That's how you're born. That's how your mental state is. It's either in you or it's not in you. And when he's not being pushed and when he doesn't have the motor, then there's no way of getting around it. And that's just what it is. So this is Ben Simmons. This is who it is. And you have to live with it. And unfortunately, the Sixers can't live with it because he doesn't shoot a basketball. This there's like it's crazy. It's crazy. We have convinced ourselves, and I have now seen the light, that you can win with a player that doesn't shoot a basketball. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we thinking here? We're actually considering having the conversation of winning a championship with a player who doesn't shoot a basketball, being your primary ball handler in the year 2021? What are we doing? Shame on everyone. Shame on everyone. I love this too. Because I see this all around the comment section. Bro, you're just being too emotional, and this is a knee-jerk reaction. It's been 5 years. What knee-jerk reaction is 5 years long? Knee-jerk reaction would be a response to a 2-month span, to a 3-month span. We're not just reacting to this playoff series. He hasn't shot, like he has not taken a shot in the fourth quarter of the last how many playoff games? That's unacceptable. It's just 5 years. 5 years. It's not just reacting to just the moment. So people are taking it way too much. Way too far with this. Where it's like, you're just overreacting. You're just taking this too far right now. You're just thinking too much. No, I'm not. You are. You are. Carmen says you're right. Joel needs to get out there and recruit a star. No doubt. That's what everybody does. Start hitting people up, start working behind the scenes, start talking about the moves that can be made, things of that nature. That's what it's all about. No doubt. That's what it's all about. I'm excited, by the way, for my album of the day. If you don't follow me on Twitter, by the way, there's no Brodes Media giveaway this week. We're going to get back into the giveaways after. I'm just taking 1 week off just to kind of look around and come together with a few different concepts for some Brodes Media giveaways. So there's none this week, but we'll get right back on that. I do want to say, though, that I have thoroughly been enjoying my albums of the day. If you're a fan of hip-hop and you are into some old school stuff, into some new school stuff, you got to pay tributes to what got hip-hop to where it is today, although now it's just, I'm not even getting into the 2021 era of the nonsense, but I'm talking more of the J. Coles, the Kendricks, the Drakes, the actual rapping of today's society, not the Lil Pumps and the Lil Nazes or whatever the hell that guy's name is, and all those garbage guys. I'm talking more about the real rappers of today's society, which there are some, believe it or not. But I've been loving it. I've been going Beastie Boys. I've been going, I went Nas. I went with, who was before that? I forget who I went before that. But the album of the days have been really entertaining for me. So, no, come on. Polo G. I mean, what are we talking about here with this stuff? Some of the rappers today are just brutal. Absolutely embarrassing. No, I don't rap. I do create beats very minorly, but I'm addicted to production. I watch Metro Boomin in the studio. I watch all these guys in the studio do their work, and I love watching people create beats. I love watching their mind come together and put together the sound. And like I'm all in on like the production side of music. It gets me going big time. I don't even know who it is. The little who's the dude who did like the Demon song? Is it pronounced because everyone knows Nas, right? I mean, you're a fool if you don't know Nas. But is it like Lil Nas X or did he go Nas as well? Is it Lil Nas X? I mean, I feel like that's literally unacceptable if that's the case. I is that his name even? Like I don't even know how to pronounce it. Yeah, he made like that Demon video. Like who is this clown? Is it like who is this guy? Come on with this. It's Nas like Nas. Well, that's unacceptable. That's so disrespectful to Nas. You know what I mean? Like that's insanely disrespectful. What a joke. What a joke. Like that's embarrassing to me. If I'm part of the rap game, like I don't even allow for that to happen. Come on now. What a joke. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Getting a little frustrated here. Um, we the fans killed music. How did we do it? How did we kill music? I mean, there's definitely interest for me in hype music. Like I like Future and I do like Lil Baby, but I do think that they're in their own separate category. You don't put Future and Lil Baby in the same conversation as Tupac, Big L, Kendrick, Eminem, Jay-Z, Ye. Like you don't put, but there is moment. Like when I played hockey, right? Something about getting hyped, getting all juiced up, getting pumped up, listening to Travis. Like there's moments for Travis Scott, Future, Lil Baby, but they're in their own elements. They're in their own little section of, like let's be real, like bad, dumb, stupid, good music. It's good, bad music. That's what it is. It's good, bad. And like there's that own category for it. Then you have your legitimate studs, your legitimate stars, your legitimate rappers. And that's how it's kind of separated for me. That's how it's separated for me. What's up, Ant? What's going on? Saying facts, Brodes. I know you're big on the rap game. I know you're big on the rap game. The baby. Come on, man. The baby. Like, oh, the baby. He sounds the same in every song. He sounds the same. Like, I can't do these the babies. I can't. I can't. Like, I'm not like, okay, 21 Savage, right? Like, I'm not a, like, I can't go through, I'm a big project guy. I like going from top to bottom. I listen to full albums. I'm not a, like, trust me, there's moments for singles. There's moments for tracks. They said my man's really said the baby. I know, right? Like I like albums. It's a full project. It's like listening to a movie. It's like reading a book. You don't read chapter 6 and then skip chapter 2 and 3. You listen from track 1 to the last track. That's an album, that's a story, they're trying to tell you something. So that's what I listen to. I can't listen to a full 21 Savage project. They're ass. What I can deal with 21 Savage is if he's a feature. If there's a Drake song and 21 Savage peeks his head in for one verse and then it's over. I don't love 21 Savage. I don't think he's great by any means. I could live with a feature, but like you can't be like project wise. Come on, man. Yeah, Metro Boomin's elite. Metro Boomin is legit. You know? Oh, I could talk music all day. I was actually thinking for my blogs, because obviously on broadsmedia.com, which you can check out, I do my blogs. And, maybe once a week or so, I just write something up about sports, and whether it's Cole Caulfield, Doc Rivers. I was thinking about actually maybe creating some content outside of sports where it's more culture, more, my taste in music and branching outside of just the sports side of things, because I love music. I am addicted to, like, some people just, like my fiance, for example, she just listens to music. I can't just listen to music. I get all weird. I mean, it hits me. I get goosebumps. I get chills. I get in my zone. I mean, music just does something. No way, Marcus. No way you just said Missy Elliott, because I literally have. No, it's not today. It's not today. But I have Missy Elliott's album as one of my next albums of the day. I'm not going to tell you which one, although you could probably imagine which one it is if you know her work. But I literally have, because I have the next couple album of the days lined up. Missy Elliott is in there, baby. Missy Elliott is in there. Dude, Missy Elliott's one of the GOATs. I mean, come on now. Come on now. Virgil says, Brodes, you like MF Doom? Yeah. Nothing that, like, nah. I'm looking up some of, how did the first thing that came up, I love it, is like, how did he die? All this mysterious how did he die concept. Music makes me lose control. There you go. Yes, I do know who KSI is. I do. Yeah, I like Logic. Logic, I fuck with Logic. I think Logic is very good. Now, he has his moments of dysfunction, like, for me, and maybe dysfunction is the wrong word, but I think Logic has his albums where he does too much preaching for my liking. Now, I understand the message. Okay, I'm not discrediting the message, but for my liking of music, I like when he does Bobby Tarantino 2, compared to a full-on 30-track list of just preaching over and over again. So Logic comes hard with some of his albums, and then there's somewhere like it doesn't hit me the same way. Now, somebody talked about Tyler, the Creator. Everyone's all in on Tyler, the Creator, right? This new album that just came out. I've listened to it a couple times. I can't get into it. It does not hit me. It does not hit me, which is crazy because everyone's vibing with it. And for me, it's like I normally can get with, like, it's not for a lack of trying. I don't write people off. I give everybody an attempt. I give everybody like an opportunity. I listen to albums 5 times before I even give my initial assessment. So I listen to albums 1 to the bottom of the track list 5 times before I give my actual opinion. I've listened to Tyler maybe 2 times. That album 2 times so far. I can't get into it, man. I think he's pretty overrated. Now, yeah, it seems like people in the comments are agreeing with me. I just can't get into it. So, no, come on, NBA young boy. Come on. All right, so I want to thank everyone. I know we got sidetracked into music. We can continue this conversation tomorrow. I want to thank everyone so much for hanging out with me. I got to get ready to get my day going, get to the gym, get open ice hits up. So I got a few things to do. Music is not dead. Music is not dead. Trust me, not dead. Thank you all so much for hanging out. See you guys later.